going to start with a new unit number 4, family life. And also we are going to start with some topics of the lesson 8. The first one is gripes, family gripes, and the second is causative verbs. So let's start. First, we are going to start with the word gripe. What is a gripe? A gripe is a complaint or to complain, could be a noun or could be a verb, to complain all the time about something in a way that is annoying, right? So a gripe is a complaint, something that you don't like about a situation or from another person. In the context, family gripe is a complaint about a family member behavior. For example, a gripe is something that you, as son or daughter, don't like about your parents, a behavior of your parents that you don't like. Or if you are a parent, is the behavior that you don't like about your kids, right? Also could be if you have a sister or you have a brother, the behavior that you don't like about that brother or that sister, okay? Also could be, for example, about your boyfriend or your girlfriend, something that you don't like about them, that is a gripe, okay? Also a husband and a wife, they could have gripes about each other, okay? So a gripe, in few words, is something, a behavior that you don't like about from the other person. For example, Jaimito says, my parents never let me drive the car. They think I'm not responsible enough. I mean, in this sentence, Jaimito is complaining about their parents because they never let Jaimito drive the car, okay? Pay attention to these verbs in green because they are very important and that is something that we are going to study today too. In the other hand, we have the Jaimito's father, we have this. My son Jaimito is always telling me to go faster when I drive the car. So in the first sentence, we have that Jaimito is complaining about his parents. In the second sentence, we have that Jaimito's father is complaining about his son, Jaimito. So these are examples of gripes. For example, we have another gripe, a woman. A woman could say, my kids never help me clean the house. I can't get them to stop playing. That is the complaint, that is the gripe by Andrea, okay? So you can see here that the woman is doing everything, but her kids are just playing in the computer. So that's why she says this, because she's complaining about her kids. In the other sentence, we have the sentence by these kids. Mom always wants us to clean the house. She doesn't let us play. You see, so in this case, they are complaining about their mom. They think that their mom doesn't let them play video games. So that's why they are complaining. So these are other examples of gripes. Remember that a gripe is something that you don't like about another person, an action or a behavior that you don't like about the other person. We have finally, my husband Javier wants me to eat trash food all the time. He's not healthy at all. Camila is saying that her husband always wants her to eat trash food instead of healthy food. On the other hand, we have that my wife Camila is always telling me to eat salads, but I prefer real food. That is something that Javier could say. So they are complaining about each other. Camila is complaining about Javier and Javier is complaining about Camila. So those are examples of family gripes, okay? Something that you don't like from the other person. Now, let's continue with the causative verbs. The causative verbs are verbs that we use to show that someone or something caused something to happen. That is the reason they are called causative verbs, because if you use these verbs, you caused something to happen, okay? We have some examples of these verbs. For example, let, make, help, and have. And we have a different category: get, want, ask, and tell. Why are they separated? Because there are two types of causative verbs. The first category is those verbs like let, make, help, or have that they use an object and they use a verb in simple form. Pay attention to this because this is the difference with the other verbs. They use a simple form. For example, let. The verb let means that you permit or give permission someone to do something, or you permit something to happen. Pay attention to this definition. Try to read it carefully. I'm going to give you some examples. For example, Mom and Dad let us watch horror movies. That means that our mom and our dad permit us or give us permission to watch horror movies. Okay, so mom and dad let us watch horror movies. Remember the definition of let? This sentence means that mom and dad permit or give permission to us, right, to watch horror movies. But pay attention to the structure. Let plus object plus the second verb, yeah, in simple form. In this case, we have the let, we have the object, and we have the second verb that in this case is watch. Mom and dad is who is making the action of let, and the object us is who is receiving the action of let. Okay, remember that the object is who receives an action. So mom and dad let us watch horror movies. Let's continue with the verb make. If you use this verb as a causative verb, means that you force, pay attention to that word, force, someone or something to do something for you. Pay attention to this example. Maria makes her boyfriend do her homework, right? Remember the definition, force. So in this case, Maria is forcing her boyfriend do her homework. You can see that the girl is talking by the phone and the guy is like making her homework, right? So pay attention again to the structure. Make, object, in this case her boyfriend. Remember that the object is who is receiving the action of making, and the second verb in simple form. You see, makes her boyfriend do. Maria makes her boyfriend do her homework. She is forcing her boyfriend do her homework. Okay, pay attention to that. Then we continue with the verb help. When you use this verb, means that something helps or assists someone to do something. In this case, pay attention to the verb help, because as a causative verb, you can use the verb help with the to or without the to. We are going to see the both examples. Drinking warm milk helps some people sleep tight. Pay attention to the help, the object some people, and the verb sleep in simple form, only in this case, okay? But you can also use this verb in this way. Drinking warm milk helps some people to sleep tight. Okay, so pay attention because the verb help can be used with the to or without the to. Okay, you can say help some people sleep or help some people to sleep. Both are valid. Okay. Finally, in this category, we have the verb have. This means that someone does or make something for you because you pay or ask them to do it. So in this case, we know that the verb have is like when you say, I have a car, right? But in this case, as a causative verb, the verb have is going to have the meaning of doing or making something. Pay attention to the example. We have our kids wash their teeth every day. In this case, we are saying like, we make our kids wash their teeth every day. In other words, estamos diciendo que hacemos que nuestros hijos, so in this case, pay attention because have is also like the verb do or make, right? Pay attention to the structure as well. Have our kids wash, the second verb in simple form. Another example of the use of have. I'll have my assistant call you and give you an appointment. In this case, pay attention, it's like I will make my assistant call you, right? It's something like that. But we can say that with the verb have. In this sentence, the verb have means I'll make or I'll do my assistant call you. Okay? It's the same, but it's also possible to use this verb have as make or do, as a causative verb. Now let's continue with the other category of verbs. The verbs get, want, ask, and tell, plus an object, plus the to, pay attention to this, and plus the verb. In this case, it's not the verb in simple form. In this case, you have to use the second verb with the particle or the preposition to. Pay attention to some examples. We are going to start with the verb get. If you use the verb get as a causative, means that someone does or makes something for you because you persuade or encourage or tell them that you like them to do it. Pay attention to the definition. Try to read it carefully. I'm going to give you some examples. For example, you can say, as a mom or a dad, you can say, hey, finally, I got my kids to make their homework. They just wanted to play video games. I mean, remember the definition. You make or does someone do something for you because you persuade, encourage, or tell these people to do something for you. So, for example, when you say, I got my kids to make their homework, means that you persuade or you convince your kids that they were playing video games before, and then you convince or persuade them to do their homework. Okay, so pay attention. Finally, I got my kids to make their homework. The verb want. This verb means that you desire or wish someone to do something for you. For examples, my parents want me to be a doctor, but my dream is to sing. So this is what my parents want me to do, and this is what I want to do. Okay, remember the definition, desire or wish. So my parents desire or wish that I be a doctor, but my dream is to sing. So in this case, my parents want me to be a doctor, but my dream is to sing. Ask. You use the verb ask when you request or you beg someone to do something for you. If you have problems with the verb request or beg, go to a dictionary and find the meaning. But it's very, very easy for you to understand this. This means you request or beg someone to do something for you. For example, I always ask my husband to make the bed, but he never does it. Right? So you are requesting or begging, in this case, a person to make the bed, but the person never does it. Okay, doesn't matter the complement. I mean, you are only using this causative as a request for a person. So I always request or beg my husband to make the bed is a similar sentence. Let's continue with the verb tell. When you use the verb tell, means that you say someone to do something for you. Pay attention to this. For example, my mom often tells me to cook. Pay attention because all these verbs use the second verb with to. My mom often tells me to cook. She wants me to be independent. So my mom is saying me to cook, to make the dinner, to make the lunch, right? Because she wants me to be independent. So pay attention to the structure again. Verb tell, object, and the second verb goes with the particle to, right? Pay attention to that thing.